cage is at in space? Yes. Did I show it to you? Yes. Did I show you the physical properties you can have on a shoulder, just one appendage, by moving a rib cage? No. By assisting somebody to direct and move a rib cage? Yes. That's the take-home message. And did I do it consistently with a mindful attitude about a pattern that exists called the right BC? Yes. Cervical axial rotation, Jan. What page is that on?
41.
Everybody, let's do this and we'll go have lunch, okay? Page 41. Got the test done. What are we going to do here, Jan?
Patient lies in supine with knees flexed to flatten the lumbar spine. Place both hands around each side of the patient's neck with little fingers placed on distal transverse processes of C2. Middle fingers placed on transverse processes of C7 and index fingers placed on the spinous process of T1. Place thumbs directly under and parallel to SCMs. Passively rotate the cervical spine as a unit to the left by rotating the neck with the right thumb, third, fourth, and fifth fingers while the right index finger stabilizes T1. Compare soft tissue limitations or rotational limits or differences secondary to thoracic spine position by rotating neck from neutral to the left and from neutral to the right.
And we kept the verbiage. I know we used a lot of verbiage. I heard somebody say that yesterday. We kept this at a minimum on these tests. We're trying very hard to explain what the minimum amount of wording that's needed. So basically it's this, Heather. I'm going to splint this man's neck and see if this gentleman can move his neck to the left as well as he can move it to the right through about 3 segments. Test of those 3 segments is T2, T1, and C7. I'm going to take his spine of his neck and I'm going to put a collar. I'm going to put something around it. I'm going to splint it. I'm not interested in my chiropractors, my friends. I'm not interested right now in whether or not those vertebral bones are moving on each other. I'm interested in an axis. That's why it says cervical axis. You see that, Carrie? All I want to know is if that cervical axis that's been splinted, Linda, is going to move because of soft tissue restriction or non-restriction to the left and to the right from thorax position. I've got another extremity. It's your 5th extremity, Tyler. Here we go. 5th extremity. I'm not looking at intervertebral issues right now. I'm not looking at facet issues right now. Articular issues right now. I'm looking at whether or not that spine is oriented to the right or to the left. That's what I'm looking at. That's all I'm looking at. If the sacrum was T1, if the T1 was S1, I'd want to know if the lumbar spine can move on S1. The new lumbar spine is not 5 segments, it's 7. It's called the cervical spine. I'm going to check to see if the cervical spine, which could be a lumbar spine, is moving on T1 or your sacrum. How am I doing, Tyler? Think of it that way. That's what I want to know. And if I do that correctly, I'll put my 3rd or 4th finger, my index finger on T1. Scoot down just a little bit. And I'm going to splint the neck. And I'm going to get my thumbs underneath his SCM. If you can't see, stand up. Come on up. I'm going to splint that neck. I have T1 secured with my index fingers. I've got my little finger at the base, C2. And I'm just making sure that as I palpate this neck, I'm stabilizing his entire neck as a segment, an axis, which I've created. I lifted his SCMs up with my thumbs. I've splinted him. Can you feel it, Jonathan? Mm-hmm. I've splinted your neck. Mm-hmm. I went around his neck. The movement between C7, which is right there, and T1, Jonathan, which is right there, is going to come between those fingers. Mm-hmm. And right now, Jonathan, you're not restricted. Mm-mm. I can move you pretty easily. Okay? That's cervical axial rotation. If I put a towel under his left side and I orient his spine to the right, which we've already done this morning, and I create a right BC problem, cervical axial rotation is going to be limited to the left. So I'll just take this towel, real thin one now because I used one of them, and I'm going to put it right here. He's now oriented to the right. And Gail, I'm going to do the very same thing. Neutral for him right now, Gail, is not here. Neutral for him is there. That's neutral for him. We don't take that into account. We lay our patients on their back. They put their head straight up. We talk to them. And we don't even know if they're in axial rotation or not. Until, where's my Tessa? Where is she? Tessa, until I know whether or not that chest wall is moving, how can you tell me you know they have a limited neck function? That's a question. I have just a question. I'm proposing it. Because in this position where I'm at right now, Jonathan will tell you, I can go to the right, but Jonathan, would you want me to go any more than that to the left?
Not really.
Because I'll choke him. And people who can't get a pharyngeal airway established, who clench and push a disc out, who rotate their neck and now can't swallow, probably ought to ask them a question. How are you doing? How's that diaphragm? How are you really doing? I'm going to lock them up bilaterally. To lock them up bilaterally, if you could just stand up.
Yep.
And go on your toes. And hold it. 3 or 4 breaths. And breathe. That's extension. His back is extended. Do you see it, Chad? His neck is pulling him up. He's extended. And if he lays on his right side now, how about if you put your head down here? We'll just keep it down here. Lay on your left side first. That'd be great, Chad. Got you. Great, Jonathan. Lay on your left side. He just took his body and he extended it. This leg, if I go any further, can't adduct. He could yesterday. Lays back on this side. Oh, just stay where you were. We're going to move fast. Lay on your right side. Can't adduct. Lay back on your back. Horizontally slide on over here towards me. Can't horizontally abduct. Go back over here. Can't horizontally abduct. Go back to the middle. Cannot cervically, axially, what? Either direction. That's all he's going to have. Do you feel the tightness now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel the tightness there?
Yeah.
He's locked up. PEC. Now he's going to stand up. He's going to come over here, put his heels down. He's going to reverse, toes off the floor, go to the heels, knees forward. Knees forward.
So I'm here?
Yep.
And toes squat.
Yep. Get a little closer if you would.
Oh, okay.
Toes off the floor. Knees forward, knees forward, knees forward, knees forward, knees forward some more. Thank you. Very good, very good. Doing okay?
Yeah.
3 or 4 breaths. Just create room for the stomach you need for lunch, that's all. Lay back on your left side. Head down there. Jonathan, you've been great. Right leg, can adduct. Lay on your other side. Left leg, can adduct. Lays back on his back. Come over to the edge. Horizontally, can abduct. Goes over to the other side. Horizontally. I bet you know what it's going to do. What's it going to do?
Can adduct.
Yeah, very good. Can adduct. Can abduct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike was right. You're pretty smart. Go right back in the middle. Stay right there. And we can cervically axially rotate him easily to the right and easily to the left. And they don't trust me, so do they trust you? Maybe. Can you do it easier? Mm-hmm. That's all I can do. You guys were great this morning. Got a lot done. Are there any questions? Give him a round of applause. That's abuse. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any questions at all? Is this making sense? Clinically, hopefully? See you in an hour. 10 after. 1:10. Thank you, guys.